Visibility beats ability. The most known person typically gets the most business.
That's Omar Eltakrori, personal brand strategist, content coach, and the mind behind a coaching program that's helping hundreds of entrepreneurs become the go-to expert in their niche. He's obsessed with helping people show up online with intention, create content that actually converts, and build a personal brand that opens doors they didn't even know existed.
The greatest personal brands that make money online are not selling on social, they're selling behind the curtain.
In this episode, Omar breaks down why being known is more important than being the best, how to unlock infinite content so you never run dry,
and the mindset shift around money and investing in himself that led to his first 7-figure year.
Two things that will increase your sales is urgency and scarcity. There is something about manufactured urgency and manufactured scarcity. And that's just because as business owners, we can decide when we open up. Like, that's why Rolex, they manufacture scarcity.
Real quick, want to let you know about our awesome free product, the 1K Playbook. It's a top link in the description. What's in it?
It's a step-by-step guide that's going to show you how to make your first $1,000 online with your personal brand through a digital offer. So go check it out and let's get into this episode.
Do you really believe that there are average people online who are making tons of money with their personal brands simply because they are more known, not better than other people in their niche?
100%.
Why is that?
Because visibility beats ability.
Visibility beats ability.
Would you say that's similar to like hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard type shit?
I don't think that's the same. Is it kind of?
I think people who can create a perception that you work hard could beat the talented person. And so think about it. I mean, you guys do film production and things like that. You work with people that you come to mind to. Now, have you ever seen like amateur hours getting jobs?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a wedding and you're like, how did they charge this couple $8,000 for this video and photo package?
Yeah.
And they're shooting on kit lenses. Well, the reality is they came to mind. And so I'm just like I think it's just the maths. The more known you are, the more, I like to say intentional consistency leads to indirect opportunity. So people who are intentionally consistent online, you just open up the door for anything that's possible. When it comes to people looking to make money with their services or their offers or whatever, the most known person typically gets the most business.
I feel like you might hear that and your shoulders drop a little bit. You're like, great, I don't have to be the most talented. I just kind of got to become the most well-known. If someone isn't the most talented, what are the steps to become the most known in your said niche or industry online?
To become most known or become good at what you do?
Let's go good at what you do first and then go into most known.
Well, I mean, the good at what you do, that's the long game. Because you can get the jobs now, the heavy lifting could be done, and then you could build your base. This is why we see guys like your dad, who's probably not getting new business. It's just referrals.
Sure.
He's built the foundation. And I think you can ruin an opportunity. And it's why there are people who during COVID, because of timing, not talent, were able to grow an audience, cash in, and here we are 6 years later and they're having a hard time. But it's because they didn't deliver or fulfill or over deliver, So when it comes to getting good, I mean, that's the unseen work. That's like, what do you do when no one's watching? I was reading Proverbs this morning. It's the book of wisdom in the Bible. And it says, the hand of the diligent maketh rich. Diligent means sharp persistence, like focused on one thing. And the rest could take care of itself. But I mean, I'm always trying to like walk this line where it's like, just cause you're good and you cross your fingers. No, you gotta make it happen. Knock doors, call. Follow up. The fortune's in the follow up,
I would say the fortune is totally in the follow up. I think even with things for my production company or things that we sell, a lot of the time it's the re-hit that ends up actually getting someone to take action. It's not the first time they see you, maybe not even the second or the third or the fourth. It might be the fifth time that you ask and say, hey, we're doing this thing, that they actually end up taking action, which is so interesting.
Yeah, which if you see that from a marketing standpoint of things, like people are going to watch the YouTube videos, they're going to watch the podcast, and then they're going to see your ad and be like, oh yeah, that was the home. And it's like, you know what? On the seventh thing that it's like, I'll check out this web class. And that's like, we give yourself permission to know it's not the first, it's not going to be the reason, which is why the long game is the game I encourage everyone to play, you know?
I totally agree with how important visibility is. There's a lot of different people who do similar things to us. You know what I'm saying? How do you become like the person that is known enough to where somebody wants to work with you? For example, there might be somebody who does something similar to you with your like cash or
Oh yeah, just helping people build personal brands and online businesses.
So then how do you become the person that someone's like, I want to work with Omar versus somebody else?
I hate to say that the answer is in the question, by becoming the person. Because people don't typically work with businesses, they work with humans. And so becoming the person is a commitment to self-mastery. I think one of the most underrated skills in business is self-awareness. Like just knowing where you need to grow, knowing where you need to get better. But becoming the person comes before getting the outcome. And if you get the outcome before you become the person, I don't know if you ever heard the concept of, your character will get you in the room, or gifts will get you in the room, but your character will keep you in the room. There's people that get the opportunity and it crumbles because they're not the person. So you become the person by just committing to intentional growth. I actually just made a video this week about how do you become like the go-to expert in an industry. And it really is a self-reflective approach to life and business. And the first thing is having a student's identity. Like everyone you've interviewed, whether they were super wealthy, well-known, or just they came to mind. There's a reason why you asked them to be on the podcast, was probably because they just are committed learners. When you go to a conference and you see a keynote speaker, or the person, whoever is listening or watching, you revere or you respect, dude, they just love learning. When no one's watching, I'm listening to a podcast. When no one's watching, I'm learning just because learning is fun, and you'll always lose to the person who enjoys learning. The second thing is having a leader's responsibility. So when you have a leader's responsibility with a student's identity, it informs what you're consuming. So now I'm not gonna just doom scroll. I'm not just gonna just be like entertainment is not gonna precede becoming better and just learning and educating myself. And when you consolidate what you consume, it changes what you create. And so great leaders who have a student's identity, they are consuming things with the responsibility, knowing that they're going to share it, which is the third thing, and that's mastered deliverability. Student's identity, leader's responsibility, and mastered deliverability. That is being someone who can formulate the way something's said more than what's being said. It's not just what you say, it's how you say what you say. So even me sharing those 1, 2, 3s, there's a way that you're going to remember it because I took the time to make it memorable by using alliteration, by using the same suffixes of those words. And that's creating frameworks. And people who are known or go-to experts, that's what they're doing. They're literally creating frameworks. And they're only doing it not to sound cute. They're doing it so it's memorable.
I remember when we had Daniel Priestley on the podcast.
Dude, he's the framework king.
Yeah. He's like 7-Eleven Forbes.
Aim?
Name, frame, same game.
Bro,
I'm like, dude, it was ingrained into my brain after having him on the show. I was like, how do you remember these things? And he would be able to pull these things from, Google had this article and it talked about you have 11 touch points before a customer actually makes a change to buy something with you. And I'm like, he is such a student of the game. You're so right. All the people that we've had, you're right.
They got frameworks, bro.
Yeah, they're frameworks.
So I walk you through this. But here's what I found. Because I know a lot of the conversation we're having right now comes from a creative side of things. Like, and I'm a creative dude. I came from the filmmaking world and had a agency and stuff. There's something about people who put their art out there. Shout out to Art that I had before. That's not the art I'm talking about. But you put your art out there, and we're judged based on our art. And that's why it's a funny dynamic, even like having helped Art kind of grow over these years, speaking into his creative expression. But it's like sometimes you got to put stuff aside, and if we're talking business here, this is what we're talking about, But someone who creates frameworks is someone who's just willing to take the time. This is where we get the concept of becoming a thought leader. You lead in thought, meaning you take something complex and then you sit and you forward the thinking to boil it down to its essence. So you guys have internal frameworks when you conduct a wedding or when you capture a wedding or when you do a shoot for a company. There's the conversation, and then there's the conversion, and then there's the contribution. I don't know.
CCCs.
The three C's of contract freelance work.
Yeah.
So, but I know, and it's so funny because like I'm just exposing the experts right now, but really this is all they're doing. Dave Ramsey, 7 Baby Steps. I don't know if Grant Cardone came up with the Burr method. It's just giving a process or something you do consistently a name, and then a list.
So if someone's listening to this podcast and they're saying, I got to come up with some frameworks, I got to know frameworks, what would you say is the steps to taking what they know and creating a framework to make it more digestible when they teach it?
What's the best place to sell digital products?
Without a doubt, it's Stan.
Okay, but they also had a baby.
They sure did.
Named Stanley. You know what this is? Okay, it's an AI bot that they created, but it's more than that because not only does it actually talk in your exact voice, it learns from the content from your Instagram. So you're able to go and grab a piece of content, it'll scan that stuff, it'll be so much more on brand for the things that you're creating. So think about it like a little balance board.
I love that Stan is helping creators in so many different ways, not only make money online with their personal brands and content, but stay consistent with content. And because it's made by creators for creators, it's not going to give you the generic content ideas that doesn't sound like you that other AI platforms are going to give you.
What's really cool too is it's learning from the things that you're already doing. So you're able to talk to it. You're going to eventually be able to chat with it in the DMs, which is going to be super sick. More on that later. But right now, I mean, I want you guys to stay more consistent. And this is going to be an awesome tool. It's the top link down in the description. You also get a little percentage off if you use our code. So go check it out. Top link, Stan. Let's keep it rolling.
The first thing I would tell them is to realize you do have frameworks. They're just internal. So like if you're in real estate or if you're creative or you're doing, when somebody comes your way, we take people through processes. That's business. It's start to finish. So unpack the steps or the process you take people through consistently. You know, maybe it's the same questions you get, the same 5 questions. Maybe it's the same outcomes consistently. If you're in real estate, it's like, yo, dude, people don't know how much they can afford. So you got to find out how much you can afford by going to a loan officer. You got to check your credit. So like, what is the internal framework you already take people through? Make a list out. And then honestly, you can use AI to help you in making it more digestible. Or sometimes I'm like, give me a P word for the word consistent. And it's like persistent. It's like sick.
Boom.
You know? And you know, you want to know where I got all this from? I really got this from preaching. Like
interesting.
Watching great communicators, great preachers of the word of God. They were really good at creating memorable points. And usually it had what is called literation. So if you're wanting to create a framework, number one, give yourself the permission to know that you already have them. They're just not coined. You haven't given it a name, which is like this. The second thing is give it a name. I have the crispy content checklist. I have the content quadrant. I have the business blueprint framework. I have a lot of these frameworks that I've created from the amount of times people have either asked me questions or processes I've walked people through. And then the next thing is just to like know that you can use like shapes. I know this is like crazy. There's this book called Draw to Win. And if you didn't know, we are all visual learners. Like when you were young, where I always feel young, always, but I guess I am young. I'm 34.
Young. Yeah, you're young.
But I feel 23. I feel like I haven't grown past 23. It's weird. But when we look in the sky and there's clouds, your brain is wanting to make images out of them. So when you're someone who, and we're talking about becoming a go-to expert or the leader in something, you're not better because you're better because you can better communicate something. And so just being able to draw things, like if you are doing your guys' videos where it's the channel that you top down angle on an iPad, even drawing a sad face and an arrow to a happy face, and then you put like signed contracts to a person's mind, they're like, yeah,
That's so interesting.
Dude,
who's
when we had Daniel on, dude, that is all I could think about the whole time. When he was drawing, I was like, there's something here. And now when I go and think about, I'm going to do this business idea, or this is something that we need to do, I love to draw it on that huge piece of poster paper that we bought for that pod. I still have it. And
so good.
Those big markers, it's so fun to just see it. And you're so right.
And it's our kid in us.
Yeah.
Going like making us like, oh my gosh. But psychologically, what it's doing is it's communicating to a person that you've thought of this before they have, or you've thought of this more than they have. And the person who's obsessed is the person who gets the business.
Yeah, Braden's going to struggle with that because you're not a very good drawer.
Well, it doesn't
you
matter.
don't need to be.
I don't need to be a good drawer, okay? People enjoy my bad drawings.
Taki Moore does this phenomenally.
Yes, God. He's
got his
I mean,
markers.
what's going to
good.
happen is you're just going to, now it's going to be like, dude, they all freaking do
They all
this.
draw. They all draw.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about being obsessed with what you do, because I think about the show, I think about my production company, I think about all these things that we do, and we're always trying to get better at them.
For sure.
Like we finish a podcast and we sit and talk. What could we do to make this a better conversation?
I mean,
next
we had
time?
a 2-hour conversation yesterday of like,
How can we make it better?
Yeah,
You know,
or
and
more
we-
efficient.
We've done it 200 times. We've
Yeah.
done 200 in a row, and we still are like, could we move the light a little bit to the left?
Dude,
What could we
100.
do to the microphone? How have you become obsessive with the things that you've put your mind to?
Man, you know what's funny? It's a great question, because I think it falls in the same category of how do you teach somebody to be hungry. I mean, I think
Can you teach someone to be hungry? Or do you think it's innate?
I mean, I'm projecting, but I mean, I feel like I'm hungry and obsessed because of my makeup, my personality. There's these things called Enneagrams. It's like a personality test, and I'm a 5, which would be like an investigator, somebody who really, once they find out something, you really want to go down and like, go down to the root and figure it out. You just want to figure things out. That's why I love golf, because you can't figure it out, but I'm still trying. And but obsession, they say obsession beats talent. Well, and it's really the reason why obsession is so important. And it's not, I'm not trying to say you need to be obsessed about what you do, because if you don't enjoy it, but you're obsessed because you guys get fulfillment out of it. And I actually think there's a connection between something you're obsessed about and like the gifts God's woven inside of you. Like, why do you guys like working with your hands? Why do you guys like creative work? I mean, the Bible says that the gifts and calling of God are without repentance, which means you don't have to be saved to be gifted. You don't have to be holy and a saint to operate in the call of God for your life. It literally is like without repentance, meaning without even acknowledging who God is, you can operate in your gift. So I believe we are all gifted by God. And when we find that, and sometimes it's accidental, sometimes it's, through life and testing, that you could find the thing that you're obsessed over. And dude, I was interviewed by one of the guys in my program a couple days ago. He's in commercial real estate. And like the way he can make you interested in buildings and steel frameworks and like, and just like the whole concept of it. I'm like, dude, that's why you're winning. And unfortunately with industries or sectors or, wherever people find themselves, there is always people that just enjoy what they're doing. And I feel like we'll always lose to the person that's obsessed at the game.
Yeah, they're thinking about it constantly, and you're always trying to make it better.
I have a question about God and religion and money. And I believe I saw a clip of you talking about this, but because you've brought it up a few times already, I'm interested in like, and I don't know if this is the right way to frame the question, but does God want us to be rich? Does he look down upon us for pursuing money? How do you balance that?
Yeah.
And how do you explain that or teach that? Like, is it bad to pursue money, basically?
Does God want you to be rich? Yes. If you guys had kids, do you want them to be blessed?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because you want the best for them.
You want them to do better than you've done. It's like a crazy innate thing. And if we're created by God, then we have likeness of like God. Here's where I'll find biblical stances on, yes, God wants you to be blessed. Number one, wealth and money and gold is a concept from God. Even in the Old Testament in Deuteronomy, it says God has given us the ability or the power to get wealth. Wealth is a Bible word. Where it gets weird is because we think most people misinterpret scriptures, and Jesus says, he says, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. He doesn't say the pursuit of money. He doesn't say money itself inherently is evil. He says the love of it. When you get emotional about your finances, that's where the problem is. And so God wants to be your source. Get emotional about God. Like, fall in love with the guy that's providing, the God that's providing for you, making a way. And even the theology around blessing, it's not about like money comes to you. It's that there is already things God's put in place, like principles that you can apply, and it'll just, it's his word. If you do this, then I'll do this. If trust me in this, and I don't, it says in Malachi, it says, trust me in the tithe and see that I won't open up the floodgates of heaven. You also read in Joshua where it says, those who are willing and obedient will eat the good of the land. And you can be successful if you meditate on my word day and night. Like, these are scriptures. So where do we get this concept that God doesn't want you to be prosperous or wealthy? Or, dude, can you help somebody if you're not taken care of?
No. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. And what's funny is when the disciples asked Jesus, like, hey, can you boil down all the commandments, all the laws to like just what only things we need to focus on? Jesus says, love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And so under the same breath, he says, love your neighbor as yourself. Those are the two. Like, if you were to boil it down, like, start there. And even Jesus says you can't love someone if you're not taken care of. And so this leads me to believe between the relationship of God the Father wanting to bless his children, him giving us the ability to create stuff in the world that can add in financial increase, to then using your money to be a blessing. And that's why there's a whole camp of people who they say it, a prosperity gospel, which is like this concept of preachers or churches that just are out to take people's money. And the funny thing is, like, the local church is the number one giver to natural disasters and destruction. Like, the people that go first, the money that goes first is usually the local church. So like, the church isn't trying to get your money, but there's scriptures that show that if you tithe, when you give God the first 10%, that he'll bless the 90 more than you can do with 100. So if 100% of my money under my control is going to be far less than trusting God with just the 10, and then him giving me the creativity and the stuff to go with the 90. And I've seen the blessing in just being a good steward of finances. And dude, I've bought friends' cars. My father passed away last year. I'm being able to take care of my mom financially. We give whenever I feel like the Holy Spirit wants to bless people. Like, I had lunch with a friend, a pastor, and he's raising money for a church. I'm like, I felt the Holy Spirit say, like, give. It's like, okay, I'll talk to my wife and we're gonna give. But I can't do that if I myself am not taken care of. Yeah. So I think that's kind of where, I know, a long-winded answer to, yes, I do believe God wants us to be rich.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because I think I've never heard it broken down like you broke it down, and I think you hear like money is the root of all evil. So it's like, is it even something we should be in pursuit of?
Yeah, just remember it's the love of money that's the root, and it's the root of all kinds of evil. So all kinds meaning like greed is usually the foundation of many missing the mark in life. It starts from a place of greed. But when I say, like, if money stresses you out, it might be a god. I think it's just something to consider, because most of the time people who are struggling financially will think that because people have money, that they believe that
They're
money is a
evil.
god. Yeah.
Oh,
And we
interesting.
connect rich people to evil all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just because we grew up with superhero movies and the villains
Sure.
were always rich.
Hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
interesting.
When is the good guy ever rich?
Yeah, never. Never.
And so, but I found that people with a little bit of money are usually more stressed out about not having money. And that's actually a form of submitting to the love of money, right? Because you're emotionally connected. It's stressing you out. But then there is people with a lot of money or wealthy individuals who are afraid to lose it. If you're afraid to lose it, or if you're afraid to gain it, or if you're stressed about gaining it and afraid to lose it, dude, you serve money. And that's what God doesn't want.
When you were coming into some sort of wealth or like starting to do really well in your business, was that something that you had to battle with at all? This feeling of, okay, now that I have a little bit or I have, something saved, am I afraid to lose this? Or have you always had like a relationship with it where I know that if I do good for the world and I do good by my clients, that it's always going to continue to find me?
Yeah, great. Dude, super good question. Did I ever tell you guys I lost the $100,000 in the Ponzi scheme?
No.
Oh, no?
No.
I came after that, maybe?
Yeah.
Shoot.
No, I think.
No, I don't think.
Well, I
no.
I don't know
did.
I don't know if you've told us specifically,
You
but
probably
I've
saw
definitely
something.
seen you.
Yeah, I've seen
No.
a piece of content about it, but not the
Well,
story.
there's two sides to that
Okay.
question. Number one is when God got a hold of my life, I was 20 years old.
Okay.
And so I was only making like $250 every 2 weeks, working at a rec center, shaking hands to old people and like saying what's up to all the returning people. Anyway, so I learned how to tithe at a young age. And that simply meant just giving the first 10% of all my income. It was easy to do it then because $25 is like, I could do that. But what's cool about the principle of the tithe, honestly, is it's not about amount. It's about it. People will argue that it's about amount, but no, it's about the percentage. And that's why it's harder for a rich man to inherit the kingdom, because if you come to the realization that 10% on $1 million is 100,000. So to me, getting started at a young age broke the importance of money. And I like to say that the pursuit of money should always be met with the devaluation of it, because all money is a tool. And so when me and my wife sold our first house in 2018, we had $100,000 in equity. And that broke generational patterns, because I looked at my bank account and it was an extra $100,000 that hit our bank account. I screenshotted it. I'm like sending it all to people. I'm like, dude, this is insane, And I was so glad to give that $10,000 to my church that I'm at. And then even on top of that, we took another $5,000 and we gave it as an offering. So there's the tithe and then the offering. The offering is above the tithe. The tithe is kind of like the starting point. But I say all that to say, I thought I had a hold of money in that regard, like emotional attachment. And in 2023, I was golfing with a buddy, and I was like, dude, I have like $100,000 me and Amanda want to like do something with, and he was like, dude, I'm a part of this fund. It kicks back 20% every 6 months. And he's like, I've been a part of 3 rounds. I'm like, dude, he's like, I started with like 150. I'm at like 400 right now, because he just kept rolling it. I'm like, dude, tell me the person. Let's go.
Sign me
up. Where do I sign up for this?
And bro, like I tell my wife about it. It's like $100,000. You could start with however much, but in my heart, I was like, we can just do 100 and
Let's go big.
Let's go big, bro. And it was funny because we like prayed about it. We felt peace about the decision, and we go to the bank and we wire the $100K. And then, the reason why I even did it was because the dialogue I had with my friend, he asked me 2 questions. He said, number one, because I was nervous, and he was like, what's the worst thing that can happen? I was like, I lose 100. He's like, what's the best thing that can happen? I was like, 6 months, I have 120. I make 20 on my 100. He's like, what happens if the worst thing happens? I was like, I'll just go make another 100. And he's like, that's why I think you should do it. I was like, all right. So we do it. And then 4 months in, it's like the emails are going crazy. And there's a lot of investors. There's probably $13 to $15 million of money.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And I didn't learn this, but a Ponzi scheme is they take the first round money, the second round, they use the first round's money to pay out this. And then
Just keeps
and then on the
going.
fourth or the fifth, they pull the rug. And so sure enough, it was like, babe, I think we lost 100. And for us, a little bit, I was depressed, stressed, felt like a bum. And, but then it was like, dude, we still pay off our mortgage. We still got food on the table. I'm like, nothing changed. I lost $100,000 and nothing changed. Not because I'm better than anybody, but it's because it was just money and it sat. And so now that it's gone, I thought it would change my life, and it didn't do anything, thankfully, you know? And that lesson taught me that $100,000 isn't a lot of money. And if $100,000 isn't a lot of money, maybe $1 million isn't a lot of money. And I'm not even saying that from a place of arrogance. I'm saying that from a place of, you don't know what could happen in your life, where in a moment you can get an unlock, you can find a relationship, the things that we can't control, or, you know, maybe you're investing in yourself and you find yourself in an opportunity, and then your life changes in a day and you get an influx of money. And so I found that, like, the decision to be bigger than $100,000 happened when I lost it. I'm like, dude, I'm way bigger than this. And so when we started making really good money, like, I think when we did that podcast last, when was that? Was that 2024?
2020. Yes, 2024. Yeah, because we're in 2026.
Yeah, so 2024 was like the first, like, 7-figure year I've ever had in my life. And the way I set out to try and make 7 figures was simply, I just wanted to know what it took or cost to make 7 figures. And part of that cost was, if I needed to make a hire, I'll make it. And I you know, my last W-2 job was $34,000. I was working at a church, and then pursued entrepreneurship in 2016. So this first legit hire was a $60K salary. I was like, good night. What do I tell this person to do? And they're just gonna be around all day and just, like, look at me, or, like, I don't know.
What's next?
And you know what's funny? That person I made that initial first hire, she found $10,000 unaccounted for in the first, like, week she was working for me. I was like,
all right, you're worth it.
That's why hiring is important, dude.
You're worth it.
And that year, because I was willing to just invest in myself, hire people, but then also pay people to do things like contractors and stuff, it allowed us to make, I think it was like 1.2, and the cost, like the hard cost of making that 1.2 was like $300,000. And then I was like, this is business. Business is, would you trade $300,000 for $1 million?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how many times would you make that trade?
Tons and tons of times over.
And then what would you do if you didn't have the 300? But you knew you with 300 you'd make $1 million.
You'd go find it.
You'd go find it. You go borrow it.
Yeah.
You go, and that really is what changed my approach to, like, a lot of things. And it's like, I mean, we're talking just a couple of years. And then I have a podcast too, and being able to interview people who've gone way before me made a lot more. You realize there's some patterns there, but that's all business should be, is just a trade, you know? And that's when I think about back to, like, the finances and being trusted as stewards with the money we're given. Like, you treat your money differently if you know you trust God with it. If you know that, like, essentially God's seeing how I'm going to steward this. Jesus has this parable where he talks about the parable of the talents. And long story short, the person that multiplies what they're given a well done, good and faithful servant from God. The person that does nothing with what they're given, they get, you're a wicked and lazy servant. Not lose it, do nothing with it. And another reason why God wants us to be wealthy or rich is because he's given us something right now to be able to multiply it. Multiply means more. So whatever, you know, you have now, I do believe it's God's heart for you to have more of it, not just for you to have more. It's just so you can do more, you know?
Yeah.
Have more of an impact.
100%. It's been, has it been a full 2 years since we had
I think
you
just
on?
about. Yeah.
It was November 24.
Mm-hmm.
Or wait, was it October?
It's October.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2024 you said was the first year you made 7 figures. And earlier in the podcast you brought up always being a student and always trying to improve and stuff. And so I'm just curious, from the time that we had you on last to now, how has your business changed? What new frameworks have you created? What have you learned about, business and the way that you operate that has allowed you to kind of get to that next level? And what are you, like, new things that you're sharing with your students that you're helping out now?
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is I've been able to scale up to this point with really just one offer. And it's just like my inner circle coaching program. What I realized is this is the beautiful thing about helping people. And if anybody wants to like launch a course or launch a program or help people get from point A to point B or experience a transformation, the reason why you need to do it is because you need to see how people implement what you're helping them do. And then you can formulate fresh frameworks from that and be like, oh, I literally help everyone through this 3-step process. And so I guess I implement it too. But this is what I like to call the business blueprint framework, And if you want to build an online business, the first thing you got to do is unlock infinite content. You need to find your way of being able to show up without feeling like you're running out. If anyone's putting out content and you feel like you are running out, I would go back to the initial framework I shared, but become a student. Like, that means you're not consuming enough. If you feel like you make 3 YouTube videos, you're like, now what do I talk about? It's like, no, you need to find your way of showing up consistently, infinitely online. And sometimes that could be live streaming. Sometimes it could be taking a conversation like this. Like, I could leave this conversation, we can get in the car and I can go live on Instagram and talk about whatever I want to talk about. And the beautiful thing about content and the reason why it's not, the beautiful thing about content and the reason why it's not as saturated as what most people think is because we get to decide the stories we tell. We get to decide the principle in the thing, right? Like, so, and AI can't do that, by the way. So AI can't take a story and then draw a principle from the story that like wraps a bow on it. Like, this is the powerful thing about, being able to think,
Yeah.
So like you could literally, I remember Chris Do made a video on his YouTube channel a couple of months ago about a scene in a movie. And he's like, how this person in this movie is a genius salesman.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, he came up with that. He just is reacting and responding to things. So unlocking infinite content is step number 1. It's what I help people do in the first step of things. And then the next thing you do is you usher them into an intimate conversion event. Infinite content, we have a system that we're showing up consistently on platforms or a platform, and then ushering them into an intimate conversion event. An intimate conversion event would be like a web class, a sales call, a discovery call, an assessment, a challenge, a little accelerator, a boot camp, but something off these platforms where you control the environment. And that is it could be a learning/sales environment. And that's why it's called a conversion event. It could be an in-person event. It could be a workshop. The thing is, most people they're not thinking that most people try to sell on platforms. They try to sell on social media. I would argue, even us growing up watching television, we weren't watching commercials being sold.
No.
We were just watching commercials being made aware of. And so maybe when you go to CVS, it's why you chose that gel. I don't know. I just bought gel on my way.
Hair looks good, dude.
Thanks, dude. And so that intimate conversion event, for me, it's been podcasts and it's the content to cash calendar, another framework, but 1 long form a week, 5 feed posts a week, and 3 to 5 times a day on stories. Like, that's it. If you just do that for an entire year, your life will look different. 1 long form a week, 5 feed posts. It could be carousels. It could be unedited reels. And by the way, start making unedited content. I think some people are like, but what about editing? What about gear? Just don't edit it. If you make videos knowing they are not going to be edited, your approach to creating them are different. Because then you're not going to restart. You're just like, dude, let's just go. Have the notebook. Refer to your notebook. Show the notebook. Like, nobody's worried about you being polished. It's more about the content value than production value.
It's a really interesting point.
It's so true. We were talking about this the other day, but I did a video in my car, and I have telling someone who's a creator at heart that I can't use the FX3 and I can't use my mic, and I'm going to film a video raw on my phone with just the headphone audio, and I'm going to post it, and it's going to be one of the highest performing pieces in the last 6 months.
Wild.
There's just no way you would convince me that that is the case, but the message was good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's on a Potato, a Nikon, a Sony, your phone, it will push through the noise. And most of the time, if people are like, oh, my stuff isn't doing well, it's like, well, go back to your message. Like, what was your message there?
Right.
What were you trying to get out to people? And was it something they could connect with, or was it a real story, or did you just ask ChatGPT for the story? Is it not something that happened to you? And that's the stuff that I notice that I think is doing the best from you, from us, from everyone. Ththese are real stories that you've went through, that you share, because they're real human experiences.
Without a doubt. The stuff that I've seen that has done the best, it's always
stories.
It's
from you.
A lesson that I've learned through experiencing something in my actual life and sharing that experience through this story that taught me that.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So there's a framework for that.
Okay.
Tell me the framework.
It's picture, parable, principle. The picture is the thing, the person, the thing that happened. The parable is the story, and then the principle is the lesson.
Oh, God,
and so
I like that.
You know, when
picture, parable,
principle.
Did you make that? Did you come up with that?
My friend David Simmons.
Okay.
He helped me craft my web class, which all a web class should be a series. If you go to any conference or watch a thought, all they're doing is shifting beliefs, and that's what they're doing. They're showing and sharing a story, and then they're pulling the principle from it. And when you think of yourself like an expert, like with a student's identity, with leader's responsibility, and you master deliverability, you're gonna start seeing things, and you're gonna start telling yourself the story from the things you see. So like my kids were watching Up the other day, and Fredrickson, toward the end of the movie, he's got the balloons on the house, and he's like, it's not taking off. Like I need to go up, but I'm not taking off. I need to get rid of dead weight. And things he thought was valuable, he started throwing out the door. And as soon as he started getting rid of all the things that were weighing him down is when he went to the next level. See, if you want to go to the next level, you got to get rid of the things that are carrying you down. It might be money. It might be old mindsets. It might be limiting beliefs. It might be generational patterns. You once you get rid of it, you will go to the next level. You see how I just made like off of a Pixar friggin' scene, you can speak to the life of a human being, you know? And so, I like to call it cutless content. That's why I keep referring to like live streaming. But also, if you just make a video and you make it with a strong hook, and you speak clearly, maybe I love points. I did a live stream literally this week just because I told my inner circle to do it. I was like, I'm gonna lead by example, and like at the last minute,
a little nervous, but like
bro, that thing, it was 25 minutes.
Just on Instagram?
Just on Instagram. And I have a live stream framework. And dude, that thing is crushing. And I'm just blown away because it was literally a podcast. I already made it into a podcast. But the reality is not everyone watches everything, and not everyone watches everything in order, and not everyone watches everything of one thing. They just watch a piece of it. And so when you're somebody who's building out frameworks and things like that too, you can always go back to it, and it makes people like, my goodness. And it's not dumbing down information when you make frameworks. That's such a funny concept, like dumbing it down to a third grade level. No, I actually think when you make something more digestible, you're making people feel like geniuses. That's not dumbing something down. It's being a servant, and it's helping them understand it more. But so like moving people from the infinite content into a conversion event. And then the last thing is uncovering your core irresistible offer. And so that is just the one offer that is like the main offer. You can get to $1 million in revenue with one offer. You just got to figure out the math. I mean, and then that's where the math. So what is that, like 200 of 5,000s, what is that? Is it 2,000 of 500s? And then 200 of 5,000s, or 200 of 10,000s, or like this is how you can become a 7-figure online entrepreneur.
If someone has an offer already, or they're thinking about creating a higher ticket offer, What tips do you have for making that offer more irresistible and magnetic that someone's like, yes, I need that, I want that?
Most people, if they arrive to the idea that your offer is expensive, you didn't articulate the payoff value good enough, or you didn't create the environment the person was in to the place where giving the offer was the right thing. It's like this concept of you're not going to buy, if you're going to buy a car, you're going to go to a car's dealership or a sales lot, right? And then someone in that environment, they're going to take you inside and they're going to walk you through the numbers and they're going to show you like the features and all that stuff. But most people, if someone arrives to the fact, because like my offer is $25,000 right now and it started at $2,000. The same offer that I sold for $2,000 for a year of coaching is now $25,000 at the time of filming this. And it only goes up because the demand goes up and the results are getting faster for people that I'm helping.
You're getting better.
And I'm getting better. I'm getting faster results. And I'm also not trying to help everyone. That's not my goal. Like my goal is to help those that want to be helped. And the reason why I can justify that price was simply because I saw the payoff of what was happening. And when you pay somebody once and you can implement it infinitely, that's where the value comes from, you know? So, I mean, I've invested in myself up to this point over $300,000 between Myron, Russell Brunson, and then my friend David. And the thing is that $300,000 investment has allowed me to us make like over $5 million in business.
Wow.
But I've only had to pay them once. And then I get the information forever. And this is why killing ignorance is so important. Like the only reason why we're stuck at where we are and with the desire to do more, but we're stuck is just because you don't know.
Yeah.
And so if you're building your business on intuition and ignorance, it's going to be really hard to win faster. You might get there. It just will take longer and be a little more frustrating.
Yeah, and I feel like there's been times with this show when we've talked to people, even after we spoke to you on the last time. I remember you left, we talked for hours about things that you said and this priceless material that ends up happening after the pod.
Yeah.
When we speak to people and I remember even when Chris Doe came to our apartment, Chris came for an hour and 40 minutes and stayed for 90 minutes after the pod. And we were drawing and talking and it's just this transfer of knowledge happens so quickly. And you're right, these things can take, it takes you 10 years to find something out in one day that changes the trajectory of the entire year.
Right.
Well, I remember specifically the thing that we still talk about to this day that you taught us, because we had our first offer.
Yeah, I remember.
And we were like, how can we charge more for it? Like, what more information can we provide?
Yeah.
How many more calls do we need to add to the cohort? And you were like, no, you just have to make the transformation. Like you just focus on the transformation. You don't focus on
because
giving away more information.
Yes, I remember you said something. You were like, would you rather have a 100-page document that's going to teach you this thing or a 1-page document? If you're an entrepreneur and you're a successful person, and we were all like, a 1-page document. I want it the fastest way possible to get me this result. And you're like, fantastic, there's your answer. And we were thinking, oh, we need 27 more calls. We need to do a year more of information. It's just not the case.
Yeah, so 100%. And so like how you charge more is you focus more on the payoff.
Yeah.
So when you tell people what you can do with the information or what's possible with the information, then it justifies the price. It's why colleges are able to charge as much as they can, because they're saying we're going to give you a life's worth of career information in 4 years, and then you could take those 4 years for the rest of your life. But then we already know what actually happens. But I thought about this a lot about what are people actually buying, because they're not buying courses and they're not buying inherently information. They're not even because information's commoditized, right? Yes. If I can remember it, I wrote it out. It's like a topic. Like people are buying acceleration. They're paying for speed. If you can do something fast in a short amount of time, 1-page doc as opposed to a 100-page doc, they'll pay for that. They're paying for transformation. They're paying for who they are, from who they are now to who they are later, or even the even how they see themselves. But the transformation, you think fitness, you think money, you think relationships, you think health. Like I will take your diabetes and I'll reverse it. Like that's what people are paying for. So we have acceleration, transformation, organization. So people aren't necessarily paying just for information, but they will pay for the information if it's organized.
Yes.
Because it's scattered. You know, even you can go YouTube University, which most of us have done, but how long has that taken to just learn one thing, you know?
Years.
So people will pay for an organized delivery mechanism in what they're trying to do. The next thing is proximation. People will pay to get close.
Mm-hmm.
They will pay to be in the room. They will pay, you know, because even like when you build a brand and it's very it's like it's one to many, but it's just one directional. Proximation allows for the context. And dude, understanding the power of context is so important. That just being in a room talking about the same information that could be talked on a YouTube video, it's actually the context that determines the value of the information. So part of why you can charge more is because the price creates the context for you to pay attention to the information. So price is just price. Like in many cases, it's not justified so much on like a promise of a multiple. It's really just like, I'll charge you $25,000 to give you the game so you guys can make more money. And that $25,000 is just so you guys could just pay attention more.
Yeah.
And then you'll do it because
work.
it created the void you needed to create, you know? That's proximation.
Well, that's like the Myron Golden. He's like, the best thing I can do for my clients is charge them a shitload of money.
It's 100, bro. Like, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of the guys even that have paid him like $375K for a year. I never got to that level, and I felt like I got what I needed working with him for 2 years in a certain tier. But a lot of those people have made in less than a month multiples of that, but is because the psychological thing that happens when you pay for something is it creates a void for your creativity to fill it. And so it's almost like if you've ever, you know, invested in yourself, you think to yourself like, okay, I need to make this money back. So like that's what happens when that transaction takes place. Proximation, there's identification. People will pay for a new identity. And that's why we have luxury clothing brands and non-luxury clothing brands, but they sell the same thing, just completely different prices. Because if I buy this bag, then I can identify differently, you know? There's consolidation and community. People will pay for the idea of a community too. So it's not even just like they're paying you or a transformation or acceleration or identification. It's like, no, the community of people determines too what people pay for. And you could be a facilitator of a community and crush. You could put an event, you could put a filmmakers event together. I think, what's his name? Sam
Newton. Yeah.
He did it this week.
550 people came out to that.
550 people.
Crazy.
He didn't make a short film.
No, he did.
Oh, he made one.
Yeah.
And then other people made some too.
Yeah.
Or is he the only person that made one?
No, yeah.
No, he's like, everyone gets like 3 to 4 minutes. He's like, I'm gonna make a 15 minutes.
Oh,
He's like,
really?
this is my shit.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was phenomenal.
Yes.
But he was
debuted one, it was
facilitating around the idea
Yes.
of it, you know?
So fun.
Yeah.
And it's infectious too, being around people who are all doing something like that.
Yep.
You've come out of that with an energy that it just fills up your cup, honestly.
I was also surprised. 2 of the things that you said when we first ran, when me and Braden when we did our first ever cohort.
A few years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago. I was surprised at how much people valued the community, because I thought they just kind of wanted access to us. And the fact
We
that
always think everyone wants access to us. Yeah.
Selfish.
like, I was like, you just need the information.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, we actually just had a video call with a girl named Michelle yesterday. And she was like, I just appreciated that you guys kind of like cheered me on and were like in my corner, helping me out and rooting for me. And I was like, damn, like I didn't even think of it in that perspective. I thought I was just like, we're helping you out and we're supporting you and everything, but you almost make them believe that they can before they even believe it in themselves.
Yeah, and you want them to win.
It's the only
so bad.
It's the reason why they're not doing.
Yes.
Is because they don't believe they can. So like 2 things that I get from that observation of you guys putting yourself out there and doing this. Number 1 is when people tell you what they bought, it should inform you to use it when you sell. So you guys, did what you knew to do. And then people are like, I actually didn't pay for like the pricing structure stuff. I just wanted to be a part of creative community. Well, frick, dude.
Yeah.
So the next time you run this back, or as you improve this one offer, that's part of the thing you hammer. Like maybe in the web class, you talk about isolation. You talk about, and then the amount of head nods you're gonna get because now you've tested it. It's like people are gonna be like, I do feel alone. And maybe that is why I'm not getting the business. And the reality is like, yeah, when no one knows you exist, even in the community aspect at your level, like collaboration could take place, or when you there's collaboration, but then there's also like when you referrals, like how do you get referrals? Like, and that now it's like, here's another money making opportunity by being in this group, is that we're referring each other deals.
Yeah.
So that's huge. And that's why doing the thing, I say do it for the data. If you're afraid to do something, or you've been putting off something, it's because you are overthinking the perfectionism of doing the thing and underthinking the outcome or the benefits of doing it. But if you can just tell yourself, I'm going to do this for the data, then you'll be more likely to take action.
Most people never start because they feel that it has to be perfect, and it's just so not the case. You find out more, and you end up making it way better 10 times faster by putting something out to the market.
Yeah. Which iPhone do we all have right now? I got a 17.
I got the 17.
I think I got the 17 as well.
So we gave Apple
17 $100
iterations
Yeah.
to keep getting it right, and they still haven't gotten it right from their point of view. But
That's
they're
an
going to still
interesting
sell
point.
it to us. They just dropped the M5.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever happened to M1, bro?
Dude.
Like, and
I thought the M1 was the end all be all.
Yeah,
I thought we were done.
I thought every year it's the end all be all.
Yeah.
No, they're just iterating in front of us, you know? And I found
yes.
iteration is like your business's best friend. And it's also another reason why you could charge more, is because if it's been tested, but this is why it's important to take action.
Yeah.
I think we a lot of the time can get caught up in like quicksand and thinking that, this has to be perfect. And even after speaking to some of our students, we already have 26 ideas to make it 10 times better. You talk to them and you're like, this is going to be changed. We're going to add this. What are your thoughts if we change this up? And getting that real feedback from someone who's been through your business is so beneficial to continue, because it could be 3 times better and they still have access to it.
Yeah.
So you're going to have access to it.
Which is another selling point.
Yeah.
Is like the price won't always be this way. And like, and then it actually, you're true to your word, and it actually does happen.
Have you talked to any of your past students who paid $2,000?
Well, dude, here's what's crazy.
Damn,
When I gave that offer,
Uh-huh.
this is actually a funny story. When I gave that offer, part of the offer was, this will be your price every year, no matter how much it goes up. I knew that eventually it would go up, but I was only comfortable enough to charge $2,000 at the time. And so there are still a handful of founders, which, by the way, if you're launching something, say you're looking for founders. It's just people want to be a part of something new, and you're giving them an identity for something that you're selling. And people, you'll just be, it's a great way to like make it easier. It's like, yeah, I'm looking for 10 founders. I'm going to be putting together this cool group. We're going to be doing this. So my founders, they paid $2,000 and they still get to renew. Now there is somebody that did not renew. And he came back and hit me up a year after not renewing and said, hey, I've been watching your stuff. Dude, I need your help. Dope, it's 17. He's like, okay. But here's what's crazy. And there's a point to all this. Because when you pay attention. And when you pay more attention. So there are people who are founders that pay me, that stayed, and they pay $2,000 and they've seen the stock go up 10x, But they're not implementing the same that these people who are paying 25 are. And this is the principle of price. This person who was a founder who didn't renew and he got back in and paid the full amount, he had an $80,000 week.
Wow.
When he just ran the play I told him to run. And that only happened because of how much he paid.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I know I know this is like crazy, like no one talks like this, but I've learned it from my own point of view, and then seeing it from the people I've been helping. It's like it's part of the price is just a level to pay attention.
I paid $3,000 when I was still in college, or like right after I had graduated. Did not have the money for this thing that I paid for. I've never worked harder to make that money back.
Yeah.
And I made it back fast. I made it back I had never made that kind of money within a few weeks span, and I had made it back like very quickly because I had put my back up against the wall.
Dude, and what we're talking about is human nature. So now we can get into how do you leverage human nature for your advantage? Because if you know yourself and you know how people function, and we know how we function, we know how we think, then you can actually use it to your advantage. So now when I hear an offer that I know is gonna help me, I'm so fast to buy. But part of being so fast to buy is because I don't want to be the guy that's always like, man, I don't know. Dude, I should think about it. Well, if you're the person if you want your clients to make fast buying decisions with you, you should be a fast buyer, because people can feel that stuff. Yeah. And sometimes even the principle of me just saying yes, like I had a guy on the podcast, Brian Miller, and he's like a communication coach, and he's really good at crafting core keynote messages. And I'm like, dude, I can craft a message. I'm a great communicator and all that stuff, and I love speaking, but I'm like, this guy has something that I don't. And I said, bro, what is it like to do a 2-day intensive? He's like, 10K. I was like, shake my hand. I didn't want the price to change because I know what I can do with the information, but I also know he has what I need. Why would I overthink it? Why do I need to pray about that? I don't need to pray about this. He's going to give me information in a 2-day intensive, and I'm going to extract all I can. But I just found when most people get what they are in business from their clients. Most people get what they are in business from their clients. So if you're cheap, if you're always trying to look for the discount and buy the cheapest equipment to use on your clients or the cheapest option, don't be surprised when people want discounts from you. But when you can, and we're talking about leveraging human nature to our advantage, if you want to be premium, buy premium. Everything just changes because then it's energy. Sales is a transference of energy, and it's hard to transfer that authority or that because you've gone first. So like now I'm not, it's not arrogance talking, it's confidence talking. It's
like you've
certainty.
stacked up that proof within yourself.
Correct. Yeah, and it's so much easier to sell when you know the outcome that's waiting for them. You're like, you don't have to do this. I'm not forcing you to do it. I just know that it works.
Right.
And if you want to do this, this is the correct option.
Yeah, but I love that you said you did 3K and it put your back up against the wall. I think there's something to say about in personal development, or actually in sales, right? Which coincides with personal development. There's a book called Sales Psychology by Brian Tracy. It's just like an OG sales book. But the first thing he talks about is your self-concept.
Yeah.
Before you get better at sales and before you go and make a lot of money, how you think about yourself starts with sales. And how you think about yourself emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. Dude, I remember, I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I was 200 pounds last May. And
that was like
Slim
the Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. No, bro, I was
56. Damn.
Yeah, that was the Kevin Hart. No, man, I said damn. But no, dude, I'm like 165 right now.
That's awesome.
And I lost most of the weight during the summer of last year. And then I ran our first challenge after I was 20 pounds lighter. And it's not like I was a different person, but we were averaging about $400,000 every time we do a challenge, which we would do every other month or so. And I say for whatever reason, but I think the reason was I was more confident in myself subconsciously. We did $722,000.
Wow.
In a week.
Can you break that number down? Like the challenge, what was the offer, and then like how much did you charge for it, and what was like, not like what did they get, but like what was how long was the challenge, or like what did
No, dude, that's only reserved for the no, I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is a business model I learned from Myron, and it's also like Russell Brunson teaches the one-to-many business model. Everything in your business you should do one-to-many, which is why having a podcast is really great, because or putting out content, it's something you do every week in your business that gets you in front of people, but you only have to do it once. Okay, so taking that mentality through your business is still very smart. So what I do is I create infinite content, then I usher people into an intimate conversion event. That intimate conversion event is a masterclass or a web class where I share the 5 mistakes entrepreneurs make when it comes to building their personal brand. So there's no cost to that. I'll run ads to it. I'll promote it, email.
So you will spend to get people.
Like, I mean, this last challenge, I mean, we did a challenge a couple of weeks ago, paid like 40 grand in ads. And
that's for a free event.
That's for a free event.
Wow.
But I trust the vehicle because I understand sales. And if and it becomes a numbers game. Like if I wanted to make more, I just had to put more. So this masterclass, I'm literally just going to break it down. This masterclass will sell a ticket to the challenge. So this is I'm teaching, I'm killing beliefs with these 5 mistakes. And I'm like, yo, if you guys want 5 days of coaching with me, it's $200. It's $197. And we'll meet on Zoom every day for 5 days. We'll do Q&A, and then I'll do an hour and I'll teach you something that has helped me make money in my business. How does that sound? And we'll get people to buy tickets to the challenge. And, you know, let's just say on average, we're usually having challenges with about 300 and something people. So that's 300 and something times 200. But if they want to ask a question on the challenge, it's 400. So some of that 200 becomes 400. So just in ticket sales, here's what's cool about Here's what's cool about this model is, number one, it's better than a course. I'm not telling people go watch pre-recorded videos. I'm saying like, no, who here loved the last hour and a half we just spent together? Everyone's like, dude, crazy. Chat's going crazy. Okay.
W's in the chat.
W's in the chat. Now close your eyes and think about doing this for 5 days. Will your life get better? All right. Then if you think so, like, jump in, let's go. So, so we'll do the challenge with like 300 some people, and I will do Q&A, I will teach, and then I will let people know. Even like with this 300, I'm like, yo, we have 25 spots for the coaching program, be a part of the coaching program for a year, and fill out this application. And if you're supposed to be in it, you'll be in it. And then that's how we do it. So it's really cool because like, that's why I don't have to sell on social media. The greatest personal brands that make money online are not selling on social, they're selling behind the curtain. And the reality is not because your offer is good, bad, sleazy, whatever. It's just simply because people aren't in the mood to buy. So like, it makes you look like you're sleazy or something. But yeah, that's literally it. And then those people, they're in my program for a year, and my programs, I'm not gonna lie, I've joined enough programs to know that my program's better than every program I've joined, because that's just my heart. And by better, I mean, there is a level of like hands-on. I care a lot. My coach calls, sometimes we go 3 hours. There's only supposed to be an hour. I do 4 events a year that you can come to in Vegas. That's included. And it's just, the community's insane. Like, I joined this coaching program for like $50K, and I hopped on the first call, and I was hoping it was going to be lit. And there was like 8 people, and the leader of it wasn't even on there, and it was fine. And here's what I love about that, because I'm a student. You know what I just bought? I bought confidence.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I thought this was going to be different. What I'm doing is way different. I'm raising my price.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I paid for the confidence in that regard. And then, but dude, like, yeah, we'll have, 80 people, 90 people on calls. Everyone's winning. I want to coach. Sometimes we'll do content hot seats. Sometimes I'll bring in a guest, or I'll do a masterclass training. And dude, we'll go 50 minutes. People are just like, dude, I ran the web class and I got 10 people to buy my offer. I got 10 people to call, and then people are just winning like crazy. And it's so cool. And that's just momentum, you know, like I think also the community itself, what people headed in the right direction is a powerful force.
Yeah.
You know,
That's so true. So funny.
but that's the breakdown.
We had a kid in our last cohort. He had joined our cohort and another cohort. And the other cohort was more so focused on content side of stuff.
Okay.
I think like more short form.
Yeah.
This is comedy.
And he goes, dude, this guy's fucking scamming people. He goes, he asked me if I could teach one of the lessons. He goes, I joined the fucking cohort.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
He's like, this guy's scamming.
Yeah.
Like,
He's like, now I know what to do eventually if I want to do this, and definitely what not to do.
but every week he was just giving us updates on this
Yeah.
other
He
cohort.
just tell us in the
that he
Discord,
Dude,
I'm like,
honestly,
dude, this is like a movie scene, man.
You know, it's very interesting because like I guess I fall under the umbrella of coaches online.
Sure.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
and something I have realized is, yeah, back to like the people who got lucky in COVID time frame and like they just did things at the right time, and now they're teaching or selling their theory. It's not principle. You can't teach principle by succeeding in something once. You can only do it if you've weathered storms, if you failed, got it back, failed again, got it back. Like I've been doing content for 20 years. I've been posting videos online 20 years. I had an agency. I started teaching in 2018, pre-COVID. Through COVID, I've done brand deals. Like, I mean, it's 360. Like it's just a whole nother game.
So you said theory is if you did it once and it worked for you, but maybe you haven't been able to implement that to teach to somebody else. And then principle is when it has worked for you multiple times and you've been able to help other people do it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, here, principles are no respecter of person. So when you teach from a place of principle, everyone can get something out of it. And so this example is so prevalent, and it's why having a great sales process online, because like making money online is still a huge opportunity. Like it's just better, like one to many. And by the way, my coaching program is a group coaching program. So like, even though it's for some people more expensive, but it's not expensive in comparison to what people are making. I'm showing up every Tuesday. It's not like I'm like grinding myself out, you know? So the one-to-many business model can really change people's lives, but people who are really good at marketing and sales, but suck at fulfillment. Yeah. I mean, that dude, whoever that guy is, he doesn't have a long run.
It catches up to him.
Yeah, it catches up to you.
Always does.
So business, is broken down in like 4 places. There's lead generation, lead conversion, fulfillment, and then ascension or retention, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So how are you getting people to give you information? That's lead generation. How are people converting? But the whole thing is a sales model, because when you fulfill well, it sells them in ascending or staying. And that's something I didn't know when I started coaching. I didn't know that people would want, I mean, people are signing up for their 3rd year and not founders. I'm talking like, this is essential to my business. You having a voice, me having access to the community, like all that stuff. And it's something I never knew, but I'm getting the benefit of by just fulfilling and doing a good job and caring. And so it's allowed me to, when I think about how much money, we'll make 6 figures in multiple 6 figures in just renewals, which is something you don't think of when you're creating something. Another thing that we overthink perfectionism, which doesn't get us started, but you're not even thinking about perfecting the process to the point where people will want to stay. That's a whole nother side of income that you never thought would be in the business, is just renewals.
That is so interesting. When we were talking to Michelle yesterday, she's like, what else do you guys got? Because I'm bought in now.
Yes.
Literally
word for word. Yeah.
Dang, dude.
So
What'd you sell her?
we're working on something else.
A continuation.
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
because the way that we have our offer structured is like it's a 6-week live cohort where we meet twice a week, and then we want to include an extension program or a continuation program, because it's like it's one thing to we give
He just cracked his back.
It's one thing to give away the information, but I think there's such a benefit to what you're doing over the course of a year. Yes, it's more expensive.
Yeah.
But-
Can I suggest something?
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you guys love the word cohort.
Yeah, we do. It's a good word.
That's just kind of what the
for
business
sure.
model we've been doing. Yeah.
Now you could know you run cohorts, but you can sell and market something else.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
what you can do, you said it's 6 weeks.
Mhm.
Let's just say for easy math, let's call it 8.
Sure.
So how many 8 weeks are in a year? There's 6 of those. It's 2 months.
Okay.
There's 2 6 months. Right?
Sure.
So let's just say 4 times a year you let people into your program, your accelerator, your whatever. Don't not calling it a cohort. Now to you it could be a cohort in delivery. To them it could be a community or a context or coaching ongoing.
I like that because that's what Talking More does with Black Belt. It's like 35 grand for the 35K for the year. You stay in or whatever, or 100K depending on how big they are. And then they renew and they stay in. And there's only so many spots that are available to stay in.
And that's just I don't even call it it's not false scarcity, but like 2 things that will increase your sales is urgency and scarcity. And there is something about manufactured urgency and manufactured scarcity. And that's just because as business owners, we can decide when we open up. Like, that's why Rolex, they manufacture scarcity. When you are doing something like a live web class, or you're doing something to sell people on, even a discovery call, you can create or manufacture urgency. And that would be, hey, the price, but if you get off this call, the price is going to be different. But if you want to say yes right now before we get off, this will be your price. That's like, where does that come from? It just come from because human nature. Let's not waste each other's time here. Because I know you're gonna go kick the can down the road, but dude, I really need. Well, how about this? What would you feel comfortable starting with? I'll honor this price. What would you feel comfortable starting with? So that's what he's doing. It's like I will put, and it's what I do too. I'm not trying to oversell my coaching program. That's why it's like leading into probably the way we get to 10 million is start new offers with new systems.
Because is the inner circle, how many people can you realistically take onto that and make it special?
Yeah. So everyone has their own definition of that. My definition of that, obviously because somebody who just recently joined was like, how do we get personalized help? I was like, by personalizing the information. And she asked that in the context of the challenge. After the challenge, she's like, I want to join, but like, how does this become personal? You get this personal by, you can ask me questions on calls, but also listen for yourself on the call. Watch the stuff for yourself. Apply it to your own business. That's how you personalize this experience. That was just my sales tactic way of just flipping the script. But I feel like, what's funny is it's always grown, because I used to think like, I don't want more than 100. And then with 100, there's 50 people, 40 people on the calls.
Yeah, that actually show
people are
up.
busy, or they're busy for a season, or or here's what also happens. People apply the thing. Like this girl, Hattie, who's in the UK, she joined, and the following week she had a $30,000 day. It's like, it's kind of hard to pay attention after you got your money back. So, but she's been on, so she's amazing. I'm not using her as a bad example. I'm using her as a good example. But like when I joined Myron's thing, in under a month, I doubled the investment, and then I just was like no longer on the calls. I'll just come into the person events. So I determined my own interpretation of how I was involved in the program. Everyone's different. Everyone has different breakthroughs. I found when I first started, I used to project the breakthrough I wanted for you.
Interesting.
And sometimes that's like just money. And I really do want people to win financially. But dude, there are people coming in the program and they're like, bro, I never thought I'd be able to like sell, like period. And it's like, that was breakthrough. And so it's more than just the outcome I desire for them. But I mean, I feel like with what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, is probably maybe the threshold's like 250. Right now there's about 200. I have a couple plus ones with their spouses or their team members. But I always think to myself, man, if we could just get 100 people a year in Inner Circle, we're probably chilling.
And how often are you running
the challenges?
The challenges to then have people sign up for your coaching? Is it like at the start of the year every single time?
No, I mean, this is like the part of business I'm still figuring out, but like maybe this year is the first time we've like solidified it, but at least we'll do it 4 times, at least 4 times this year. Last year, I think we did 5 or 6. We did 6 last year. Dude, one we did automated and we made $400,000.
Which is an automated video, you're saying?
The video in the
VSL
chat
was recorded.
The challenge was replays from September. I didn't sell the tickets option where you would ask a question because we just replayed those.
Sure.
And I just wanted to test something. I didn't expect it to work. And it did. Like, it's crazy. Wow. But I love doing it. So like and again, I didn't rob people from the experience because, dude, when you really start helping people in the lane that you want to help people in,
questions are the same.
They're the same questions.
They're the same every time.
So it's our job to come up with frameworks.
Yeah.
And that was why I actually wouldn't have done that if Russell Brunson didn't tell me to do it. I told him, I'm like, yeah, dude, I think we're gonna take the rest of the year off. Like, it's pretty chill. You know, it was like October when I told him this. He's like, how good did you think the September one went? I was like, dude, pretty good. I was like, really? He's like, why don't you do an automated one? And then everything in me. That's why I love business. It's like, it tests you. Like I was like,
no, yeah,
but dude, what about like the time of day and like what, I'm like trying to talk myself out of it. He's like, Omar, trust me, just do it. And then we're like, okay, let's just do it. We use ChatGPT to show us any time in the transcription where I dated something.
Oh, interesting.
So even on the first day, I was like, man, y'all showing up on a Labor Day. But it was December when we ran the challenge. So we cut that out. And just little things that would have dated it. And then the only call I did show up for was the offer presentation.
That was the last call.
Yeah. But it showed me, honestly, if you deliver something live,
your hair is a little different.
You can replay it live, right? Like, because it's when I think about like church, like, why not just watch online? No, you go in the person because the live experience, but when you listen to an unedited message, it comes off as live in the moment. So it's something I've learned. That's why I love live streaming on Instagram, because when people consume it, it's like they're on the live.
Yeah.
Now I don't, when I do a live stream, I get to the point, I teach and I just acknowledge people in the live actual very minimal, because more people will watch the replay as opposed to the live delivery. So I focus on the replay audience. But all that to say, yeah, we run that about 4 times, 5 times a year. Yeah. But now the process or the thing I'm trying to implement is kind of like book a call. I have somebody who's, brought in to do some sales calls to see if we can get, because what I found about the challenge model is, to a busy individual, which sometimes a higher level person doesn't have 5 days to give on Zoom.
Yeah, you almost have to catch them at the right time in their life of like, I can commit to, like, this week I'm a little bit more free so I can commit. I'm in the right mindset.
For sure. Okay, so number one, the reason to charge for the challenge is so that people can move their week around.
Yes.
That's one thing that happens. Number two, it's also why doing something, having a sales mechanism that is consistent is important, because when a person's ready, they might be ready to join. So like when I think about content and people are consuming content, they might persuade themselves that they need coaching on a Monday, and we might have just finished a challenge. Like, the question is like, and it could have been an Alex Hormozi video that kind of got them over the ledge. And they're like, I'm not going to go with Alex, but like, I've been following this guy named Omar and he probably teaches the same thing. Like, I wonder if his team can do a call. Like, this is where the beautiful thing about, I love the word nuance in sales. The nuance is like this, you can't control where people are at, but what you can control is how you show up consistently. And so if you can just have these things on a calendar where like consistently you open up your calendar, consistently you create a conversion event, then you can predictably make sales, But dude, part of making a lot of money is leaving a lot of money on the table, because it's deciding. So how many people have I not been able, that would love to be coached? Sorry, it is what it is. I can't do it all, and there's a part of manufacturing, the buying process that, if you're really that serious about working with me, you would do this. There's some people that buy a ticket to the challenge, show up to nothing, and still join the coaching program because what they wanted is they just wanted to see if I was legit.
Oh, interesting.
And they're like, okay, let's just see. It's $200 to see if he's legit. And they see I'm like actually showing up, and we're great at communicating, and we have support. And it's like, okay, this guy's not one of those freaking bums online.
You recently put out a podcast talking about becoming micro famous and how you feel like that's kind of like the future, the wave.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go into that? And it feels like the day of the like mega influencer, super popular, like Mr. Beast, Emma Chamberlain. Granted, that's not really the
right. I know you're talking
type
about
of people that we're serving, but like the mega famous people. Feels like the people that are really crushing it are just like you brought up, micro famous. They like serve a very specific person. They're in their lane. They have that one core offer and they're crushing it and they're staying consistent with it.
Yeah.
So can you go into the idea of moving forward, like how should people think about becoming micro famous versus super famous?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is deciding on the objective. And I typically help people where the objective is to, at the end of the day, grow your business. So if that's the objective, then it should inform how you show up. And I don't know if you guys, I don't know how it was in California, but in Las Vegas, like lawyers and lawyer commercials and lawyer billboards.
Oh, they're
and
insane.
like Glenn Lenner is the way to go. Call 877-1500. In a wreck, need a check. Like, I don't know, it's just great. I actually have a friend from high school, Blake Friedman, he's on buses. I'm like, bro, that's the homie from high school, you know?
That's hilarious.
They're every billboard you can't
but
miss.
when I think about micro famous in your sector or who you're trying to help, I think there's just something to say about being a recognizable face. You know, we do business with people we know, like, and trust. And I found that if you share educational information, it builds trust. That if you're the source of updated information, let's just take real estate, for example, and you're sharing market trends and you're sharing, where the market's at or what people are buying or where's there to look or where's there new development. And you're just sharing those things. It's like, dude, this guy's he's on top of his stuff. I trust this guy. He shows up consistently, or girl. And then how do you build know? Like, you build know by being involved. And I think even what I'm talking about is like, it's like rocket fuel for even local based services. And sometimes your goal of reaching locally can go global. There's a guy here in LA, right, Art? The dude that has a coffee shop? Or it's not New York.
Oh, no, he's in Australia.
Oh, shoot. What's his name?
I don't know his name, but his coffee shop's called
Homeboy. Dude, on YouTube. He just vlogs opening up a container coffee shop. And bro has hundreds of thousands of views on his vlogs. Now, is that growing his local business? And is that what he does? Yeah. And he's been able to expand. He's not trying to be an influencer. He's just trying to market his Tommy Oswald. But when I think about building know and trust, it's just to show up consistently and speak to the situation that the person's in. Now, here's what I found. That if you're in business, usually if somebody is looking for you or someone else to solve their problem, they have a few people in mind.
Yes.
I've been told that people are like, yeah, dude, it was either you, Chris Do, or like Rory Vaden, and I chose you. And I imagine there's people that are like, no, it was you, Chris Do, or Rory Vaden, and I chose Chris Do, or Caleb Ralston. Like, how do you get somebody to actually choose you? By them liking you. And I think people underestimate the power of creating content, not just to be liked, but so that people can, another word can be relate.
Yes.
And the way you build likability online is really just opening up your life and sharing the things that you care about, like faith, family, food, fashion, and fitness. So most people who follow my journey will know that I'm a golfer, at least a decent golfer, you know. Most people that follow my journey know that I'm a coffee connoisseur. I'm not a coffee snob, just a connoisseur. I'll have a McDonald's coffee if we had to. But if we can find a nice locally roasted small batch third wave coffee shop, let's run it, bro. most people know I'm a family man. They know my daughter Ruby, they know Russell, they know my wife Amanda. And I know people may not like that. You know, don't put your family up. That's your conviction. But there's just something. Here's what's funny. When I meet people in a business setting, they're not asking me about business questions. They're asking me about these 5 things.
That's so interesting.
Bro, how's your golf game? Dude, how's Ruby's arm? I saw that she broke her arm. Or, you know, how's your family, dude? I know, sorry about your dad. You know, we have fashion. This, you know, people drip, bro. Bro got the all gold day date on today, bro. We out here.
Pulled up with the fucking Louis bag.
Yeah, I got the Louis bag. The first thing you said, bro, that bag is dope. Not like, bro, how's business? You know? And then what was the other one? We have fitness is my golf. Food is coffee. Family. Oh, faith. I mean,
of course.
Obviously that's just like who I am.
Yeah.
And when people decide that's what they're choosing. So something I like to encourage people to do is to share 2 things at once. It's like powerful. Like you could sit in a studio and deliver content, and that's great. The information is everything when you do that. But if you're in a setting that communicates one of those 5 F's,
Yes.
and you share the tip about the thing, if you're trying to grow your business, if you want more clients, if people aren't paying you or whatever, if you're sharing that at the gym,
Yes.
if you know, if you're sharing that while you're cooking dinner, there's something that's what people are connecting to.
Exactly what I told Braden, because he's very into bonsai trees. And he's like, man, if I'm teaching more about business, but I also got these plants, like I know that I
integrate.
Like, how do I do it? I was like, bro, just give business tips while you're watering your plants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, 100. That's what I mean by communicating
Yeah.
2 things at once. And then people will ask, dude, how's the bonsai
And you
tree?
show 100%. Someone commented that on our video the other day. How's this tree doing? I'm like, that's insane that you remember that because we mentioned it just randomly in an episode. But
Yeah.
you get people that connect to those things. Or I feel like when we meet people in person, they always joke with us about the gym. They're like, yeah, who's getting big in the gym? Because we always have these like funny banter on our stories, and that is what they connect with, you know?
I mean, dude, you guys, you're engaged, bro. Like that's what we were talking about,
Yes.
you know? And if you don't share those things, it's cool. I'll know you guys as the filmmaker podcast people. You show those things and it's like, they're human.
Well, what's interesting about me posting that I'm engaged, it's actually hurting my followers because the ladies realize I'm off the market. So they hit the unfollow.
You had a good
You got a
ratio.
bunch of gals? That is so
that's like a
funny,
funny-
dude. That's actually hilarious.
No, they're probably jealous.
Yeah, they're
Bro,
probably.
your fiance is like model status, bro. I don't know where you found LA. Is
Louisiana,
this just
man.
LA?
Yeah, man, I got-
coffee shop, meet
I'm a
cute.
very,
What are we doing?
Yeah, very lucky man. Yeah,
is so
it's interesting.
funny.
It's actually funny because we were just in Sedona, and I was shooting for a hotel, and the guy who brought me out, Zach, he's like, I was considering you and some other people, and I actually went with you because you have a fiance, and it's a built-in subject.
Dude, my point exactly.
And also on the topic of this guy, Zach, he built it's not an agency. He makes content for hospitality, so restaurants and hotels. He doesn't market it as like a production company or an agency, even though he does create content for these businesses. He has a page that basically tells you free activities, restaurants, hotels, like to stay at specifically in Arizona.
So
He has become micro famous in Arizona. So when he goes to pitch new businesses, he has built-in distribution.
Yep.
But these hospitality businesses, they want to work with him specifically because he's become like the guy, micro famous in Arizona, and he has that advantage over somebody else.
Yep.
So that's just to that point.
Yeah. Don't be so linear in
Yes.
your approach. Like, yes, the riches are in the niches, but that's more about like the business you offer. But having broad appeal with a niche business is really the game, both in your content and also in how you acquire new people.
Yes.
One of my best friends is Steve Panate. He has a brokerage in Dallas, Fort Worth. He has almost 200 agents, and he also has a title company. He's like done really well. And he told me, he's like, my best performing email, Omar, was my favorite date night spot was the headline. that was his number one opened up email as a real estate professional. And it was like, dude, if you have a gym, you should be resourcing. What do the people who come to your gym, or what are people who don't yet come to your gym? Where are they going? Where do they need? What are their problems? And being the facilitator around this area of life can really be huge. I always go real estate because it's like very clear examples. But yeah, if you're the expert of the area, why would anybody want to choose someone else to do business with? And then if you've been showing up, but then it also it's funny. It's like an infinite flywheel, but it informs your infinite content, because now you're not just talking about homes.
Yes.
Yo, this new coffee shop, third wave coffee shop just opened. They got fresh Ethiopia beans like brewing in the back, so.
And I also feel like it, like when someone realizes that they have permission to post about any and everything to the extent of what they want to share, your shoulders drop a little bit. You're like, fuck, I don't gotta just post about this one thing. I feel a little bit more free. Like, oh, I have permission to talk about what I ate for breakfast, or the spot I went to, the restaurant that I just, tried, or this new city I traveled to, or whatever it may be, golf.
Yeah.
It kind of, it's there's a freedom in that. You have permission to kind of share whatever it is you're interested in.
And humans are one-dimensional.
Right.
We like so many different things, and you go through seasons of life where you're doing this thing, or specifically myself, I'm very obsessive for periods. So I'm like, I'm only focused on this thing. And then we're moving to this thing.
Yep.
It's like by sharing all those different things that you're interested in, you end up pulling in more people, and I feel like becoming much more attractive to different types of people.
Yeah, I talked about cutless content, which is just like unedited stuff, which is something AI kind of can't do. It's just like off the rip, share something, sneeze, and you're still going. It's going to take out the sneeze, There's also another type of content AI can't do, and that's classified content. And classified content is literally your phone album in your phone. Like the photos you've taken about random stuff.
Sure.
Taking a picture of this roadcaster or the camera, and then just saying, gonna be in Sedona this week working at a hotel. If you want to learn how I actually booked this brand deal of a job and got a free trip out of it, like, then people are gonna be like, dude, is that an FX30? What lens you got on it? It's like, so this is what I mean by communicating two things at once, is like, people are gonna see that. And then also what's powerful about putting copy on phone images is people have to hold down and read, which is even reinforcing the algorithm that people are staying and reading. And so it'll front load you even more. It's just funny. That's why I leverage my kids, but I pay them. So they're not highly leveraged. I pay them as employees in my business. But when I post my son, Russell, I remember he just got a fresh cut, and I just was talking about having a web class on a picture of Russell, and the amount of people that are putting like Masterclass respond or call, but then the amount of women that are like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. Like, my God, it's really just like humans aren't one dimensional. I like that. And that's, use that to your advantage.
This has been such a fun conversation. I want to end us out here with going forward with the video department. What is something that you hope to leave a legacy with your company to the group that you serve?
Yeah, man. It's the people I have yet to serve. And I'll just announce it here, just because I'm kind of like it'll give me, I'll have, what's the word? Accountability with you guys. Something I've been able to do, which was really by the grace of God, is raise up a lot of shredditors. And Art, although he's my main shredditor, the amount of entrepreneurs and CEOs and pastors that have been looking at our stuff and have been informed and telling their video person to watch our stuff, and then their video people even joining the programs and stuff, has been very eye-opening. And I'm realizing that the things we accomplish, even in a setting like that, like Art's gonna drop a recap reel before we leave here, and even how we built anticipation toward this thing, and the reason why I even travel with him. Like this is we're talking about people building their personal brands, but most people are realizing you're not going to do most of the work. You're just supposed to just talk. So we're working on what is called Shredditor Academy, which would be a certification program. And you could, one of two ways, you could send your creative to us and we will in 3 days send them back with like crazy skills. But then also if you want to be certified, you can come and then we'll have a Rolodex. And so when guys like Pace Morby or people come, I always get asked by a lot of people like, do you know a person here? Do you know a person here? And my thing is, I'm not just going to say I know a person. I know what you're looking for, because a shredder is not a videographer and just a photographer no, they're fast, they're quick. And it's a whole new breed of creative that is so necessary for the world we live in right now. And so that would be like the thing we're working on. That's awesome. I'm excited about. But then, I mean, dude, I'm boring. I just run the play, bro. I'm not going to get bored of things that are working and what we're doing is working.
You're like, I'm Tom Brady. I'm just eating plants for 20 years and following Belichick's system.
No, 100.
We're going to win 7 championships.
There it is.
Dude, I love Tom Brady, bro. I was at a 10X conference, not because I necessarily wanted to be there. I don't know. I just was at it. It was shortly after Tom Brady, and maybe we'll end on this friggin' thing. Tom Brady, dude, by the way, Grant Cardone throws these big conferences just to do a video podcast. So it's an audience, and he's bringing celebrities, you know, Rick Ross or Kevin Hart. And so Tom Brady comes, and one of the things he said I never forgot, and this was literally like 2021 or 2022, whenever he retired, he said he just signed a deal with like Fox to do like some of the like emceeing after a football season. And it was like a $200 million deal or something crazy. And he's like, it's crazy because in my career, I made around that much money, but I had to get tackled and beat and practice and show up and fail. And he said, if you're willing to be underpaid long enough, you will be overpaid soon enough. He said, now I'm getting paid what I got paid in my career to talk an hour on a Sunday. And this is why I would argue that faithfulness, like staying in your lane, is one of the greatest business strategies, because very few people are willing to go deep and press through the boring and press through the mundane. And it's like, it feels so same, but if it's working, just keep going. There's more, you know?
I love that. This has been such a fun round 2 on the 505 pod. If you're still here, please hit the subscribe button, drop us a comment, leave us a like. And as always, we'll see you guys next week. Peace. Made it again.
Welcome back to the after party. They somehow keep letting Braden in. Even though I said,
boom,
kick this guy out.
Go to the back door. We're here. Okay, listen, visibility beats ability.
Is that why they let you in?
That is
because you're known.
Because I'm known, brother.
They let you in the party.
Couple people know me here at the after party.
You gotta be well known. It opens up so many doors.
I'm sure it burns your guys' ass when you see someone who you know you're better than. Doing the work that you know you could be doing, but it's because they're more known. I hope, dude. I hope there's a lot of creators who are pissed when they see me working with some of these brands. Like, dude, I'm better than this guy, but you're not known, dog. That's the difference. That's the whole thing.
You think people are talking shit behind your back?
I hope they are.
Saying Braden's fucking terrible.
He's not that good.
He's not that good. He's getting booked.
He's getting booked. They're booked and busy over there,
dude.
Because we're known. We're posting. We're front of mind. You know, it's funny when he was saying that. I was thinking about this. When I'm like in a pinch for who to call, like Omar was saying, I immediately have like a Rolodex of people. When those people are all booked, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know who to call. But if someone were to pop up immediately on my feed, like they're posting content consistently about the thing, I'm like, oh, I'll reach out to this person. Like, this is who I'm going to call.
The people top of mind are always the people that are the first on like your stories.
100%. Yeah, I'm immediately go there. I'm like, okay, who could I call? There was the other night I needed someone the next day for a shoot. And thankfully I'd hit up our old DCA chat and David was available. And I'm like, yo, I need someone for this shoot. He's like, I'll be there. He responded in like minutes. There's a few people though that hit it. I was like, you're first. Like, you're available. And he drove from San Diego to be here in the morning and like did this little shoot for me.
Being good still matters.
For sure. Yes.
You have to be good. However, if you're really good, but you're not getting clients, it's because you're not known. And you can either take the approach of, oh, poor me, like that should be my client, or I should be making more money than this person because they suck. Well, they're just better known. Like there is no downside to, well, I was gonna say there's no downside to being super well known, but like there probably could be. But if you're like micro famous, having a strong personal brand and becoming like the go-to expert in your field and being the most known in your little niche, there's no downside. Like it's gonna help you with your business.
I don't know what I was gonna say there.
Hey, it's okay.
I got a little lost. I got a little lost in the sauce.
Well, dude, I'll pick it up.
Dude,
Let's
pick
see.
me up. Pick me up.
He's got frameworks.
Gosh, we got to be writing up frameworks. Dog.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny though, and like Omar said, we have these things that we've said.
Exactly.
I need to package them into very memorable 3-step, 4-step, 5-step things. Because literally, when we said this story during the pod, when Daniel came on the show, I mean, we talked for another hour plus after the show, and he still was like, "You do this, you do this, you do this, you do a triangle, flip it around, call it a circle."
We got to start.
7-11-4 is a fantastic framework.
We got to start though. We need more top-down drawing stuff.
Dude, yes.
Maybe for the ads.
For sure.
Yeah.
Love drawing. Big drawing. Big fan of the drawing board.
Yeah, I think, and it's so funny because he said that, people think, big fan of the drawing board. He said most people look at it as like dumbing down content, but it's not. It's just making it more digestible. And I love how he's like, you don't even have to make it complicated. You don't got to be a good drawer. You just got to have a little smiley face and a fucking arrow or a frowny face, arrow, smiley face. You're like, this could be you. Sell the dream.
I remember the Lakers had a partnership event or something in Arizona, and I went, and they had hired like a public speaker to come. And let me tell you, this guy worked at Nike for like 30 years and then ended up leaving. He was like a right-hand guy to like Phil Knight. Like Phil really liked this guy. I'm blanking on his name. But during the speech, I remember being so captivated because he had these things, he'd have acronyms that were easily rememberable at the time. Like it's been 5 years, 6 years, so I don't really remember them. But I remember after for like 6 months, I was able to recall those because of the stories that he was telling. And it all was like personal stories that he would wrap up into these acronyms. So it was easy for people to remember. And then he had them popped up on the board, and so he'd be referencing back to them while he was speaking. It was very animated. And it felt like you had 6 cups of coffee after listening to him because he was so enthusiastic about the things he was saying. And I think you guys have the ability to do that with your content online. There's certain people where you watch and you're juiced up after. I hope when you listen to the show, you have a lot of energy to go out and do something that you might not have had when you first sat down to listen to us that day, because of the awesome information that you're getting from some of these guests and from that, mostly the after party.
Yeah, mainly the after party. Let's be real, you don't even fucking watch the guest episode. When he walked in, I was like, he's looking slimmer, like. But I almost didn't want to say anything. I didn't know if it was like almost like rude, but like he looks really good and like really healthy. And he said he was like, I made more money when I lost weight. I was feeling good. I was hitting the gym. I was healthy, and it translated into my business. And he said you have to become the person. What did he say? Becoming the person before the outcome, which I thought was super interesting.
Want to run it back?
No, I'm just gonna rip it.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep going, dude. This after party. I've had a few drinks, dude. I'm slurring my words. Had a white monster. Anyways,
dude,
I think there's a lot of people, and this kind of goes back to what Caleb Rowson has said, is like a lot of people try to pose as an authority figure when they're not. And even for me, I've noticed that like when I'm feeling the most confident in myself, in my life, whatever, it's because I've shown up for myself. I'm, eating healthy. I've been consistent in the gym. We're making content, currently right now, not as confident as I've been in the past. But, okay, what I'm saying is.
Should we go to the gym today?
Yeah, probably. You're eating healthy. You're showing up at the gym. You're posting content online. You're consistent. I'm making time for spending time with friends and Sarah Catherine. And the more you do something, the more proof and evidence you have for yourself that like you are who you say you are. And I think that a lot of times in sales, or even when like if you're selling a digital product of sorts or building a personal brand, you can tell if someone isn't really that person because you can just like tell in the conviction, and it's so much easier. It's not like you're trying to like convince people. You're just like, this is who I am. I know my shit, and it's because I've put in the reps. I've put in the reps to become amazing at my craft. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm him. And so then that conviction and your confidence comes through the screen and when you're teaching because you've put in the reps and you've put in the time.
You guys can reverse engineer who you want to become by going to that person and saying, okay, what do they do? What time do they wake up? What time do they go to bed? What are their habits that they do? Like, let's say you wanted to become a full-time creator. Well, creators post. So if you're not posting right now, that's step numero uno. Okay, great. I need to post. Okay, great. Now I need to figure out what are my pillars of content? How many times am I going to need to post? Do I need to batch shoot my filming? Can I do this all on my phone? Which the answer is yes. Those are the little things that help you get to where you want to go. Just reverse engineer the end outcome. Figure out, okay, I want to start a podcast. Great. I'm going to go to Diary of a CEO. I'm going to go to the biggest podcast in the world. I'm going to see what they do. I'm going to see how I can do it on a really micro level. Okay, well, they post consistently once a week. That's what I have to do. I have to show up. Okay, they also have clips. What can I do to have clips for the moment, for the budget that I have? Great. That's what I'm going to do. That's the way that you're going to get anything that you want in this life. You want to be a millionaire. Fantastic. Well, it starts with saving your first $100. That's how you start your path to becoming a millionaire, not by magically coming on to $1 million. You start with saving your first 10,000, your first 100,000, your first $500,000, and then you go all the way up the ladder.
I just think about if someone was to come to me or you and say, hey, Braden and Kostas, or either or, like, what does it take to make a podcast? I would be able to sit there and talk to that person for an hour. Easily, and give so much game, and I'd have so much conviction in my voice. I'm not saying we have the #1 podcast in the entire world, but after doing, I believe this is 199, after doing fucking 200 episodes, I am so confident in the skill of podcasting that I know what it takes from pre-production, production, post-production to fucking make a podcast. And so, for example, Omar, I don't know if we recorded this or not, but he was like, I would love to have you guys come out. We can do a podcast and it'll be around podcasting. It's like,
brother,
I don't even feel like I need to prepare for that.
You could just get me fresh out of bed.
Yes.
I could go on pods for hours.
And so when it comes to like being well known in a specific niche or industry and making content and like becoming the person before the outcome, it's like you put in the work. It becomes so second nature to you that you don't even need to like script content. It just kind of flies. And I think a lot of people can get the shiny object syndrome. He said he's had pretty much the same offer for years now.
Yeah.
And he's refined it and upped the price and he's just stuck with it. And I think a lot of people, they don't stick with one thing for a long enough time to even give themselves the chance of seeing success.
Podcasts also, if you're wondering, are hard.
They really are hard.
Podcasts are difficult. They take a really long time to get traction, especially when you're not famous or you don't come from millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Very difficult to get up and running. So, I mean, it's crazy to think that, like, I mean, we'll do this, and this is not the pod. We're going to get all sappy and shit about 200, but 200 is crazy.
It will probably get sappy on 200.
Or 200, we should cry a little bit.
But here's the thing, guys.
I feel like we started podcasting, no bullshit, about 6 months ago. 7 months. 7 months ago is when I feel like we started. I'm not kidding.
Like where it kind of started, like where like the clarity of the episode or clarity of the show came.
Clarity of the show came. I feel like we were at an elite level. We knew exactly how a conversation should run. You don't get lost in the sauce. We have such a telepathy for who's going to ask what.
Yeah.
You don't interrupt. You're not hearing the whole fucking time when the pod's going. It's like, we know who we want to get on. It's now just a matter of time, not an if. It's going to happen.
The thing with the 200th episode though is we already recorded it and we didn't realize it was gonna. Look at us batshooting content.
Dude, come on, are you kidding me? We're growing up.
We thought the 200th episode that is coming out next week was gonna be 196 or 197. So we didn't go into it with the fucking hype of 200, but That's what a fucking after party.
That's what the
TPD
after
is for.
party's for,
Yeah.
man. That's crazy though to even go and think back. I'm super excited though to go out to Vegas and do a pod with Omar. It's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be live.
Yeah, crazy.
It's gonna be cool.
Oh, dude, lights might get bright.
Do you feel like the lights will be bright for you?
Yeah, dude. You already know that I on home court already struggle,
An away game,
dude.
An away game,
An away game, dude, where I don't have the questions.
we'll get you
It's just that-
neuro.
Yeah, dude.
You can like hold my leg. Maybe you can be under the table.
Can I hold your hand the whole
Well,
time?
no, but maybe like if you're like, I don't know the answer, the lights are bright, you
Yeah,
just tap my
yeah.
knee and I'll be like, I got this one. real
Also,
quick.
I will say, so 2 things. One, listen, if you guys start seeing some post-pod debriefs from Omar, just know that we gave him the idea. and it's all good. And I do want to say though, Omar, when we did the episode with him 2 years ago, we hadn't met him. I was kind of familiar with his stuff. Braden didn't really know who he was.
No,
And
I love
The
Omar's content.
what?
I love his content.
The conversation with him really helped us a lot
Yeah.
because we were at a time where were we doing the DCA at the time?
Maybe. I don't know if we had began monetizing products online at the time. I was with
You
something
were.
else, but not.
I think we were like getting ready to do it.
maybe we're getting ready to launch or something, but I mean, it's always a pleasure when.
Or no, we had just done the first one.
Oh, you're right.
Because we did
You're
it with
right.
him in like October.
You're right.
And we had launched the first one in September, I think.
Uh-huh.
But we've learned a lot from Omar. He's been an incredible help to us actually because
Incredible friend.
yeah, we've been able to like text him and ask him questions, and he's been a little bit of a mentor to us. So I just want to say shout out to Omar, and it's funny because when he first walked in the studio, he was like, "Yo, guys, I just want to say like I'm proud of us." And we're like, "Dude, we're still here. Like, we're still going.
We're still doing the damn
Yeah,
thing, man.
man. So it's cool.
He's a good rock. He's someone who very kind individual. I looked forward to this episode, and it
He's
did
got some
not.
drip,
It did not disappoint. Makes me want to step up my swag, man.
dude.
I'm like, brother, Omar's got drip.
Fuck, dude. We went.
Hmm.
Greg had a crazy watch on.
Yeah.
Omar's got a crazy watch.
Dude, my
on.
watch is in the shop. If you guys know the gold watch that I wear, it's
Yeah.
my grandpa's. It's in the shop. And I'm like, Mom, we got to go to downtown LA and get it back because that's where my jeweler's at. I got to get that watch back.
Would you be a bag guy, or are you more like a backpack guy? Because Omar's bag was swag.
Yeah, he's got, dude, I won't.
I just don't know if I got like the,
No, I think you could. I think we both could. I think the bag could be
it would
sick.
be if it's Louis.
Yeah.
Dude, okay.
It's like the Deion Center's like, dude, I'm bringing my luggage.
Yeah, this is so funny.
Louis.
Did you ever see, I think it was a Vine.
Hmm.
It was like, son, what is that? And he's like, something Louis Vuitton. He goes, you know this is a Gucci only household.
I could rock a bag. I will say though, for practicality, I really do like my Toomey backpack. It was a gift from the Lakers. They gave me that backpack. It's got my initials on it. It's pretty cute.
I think a bag that can hold a computer and some other shit could be swag.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And then like all the cash.
Maybe it's a Birkin. Yeah, exactly. Maybe we have twin Birkin bags.
How do you feel? This is fun. Now we're just riffing.
Okay.
How do you feel about
Huh.
fake designer
Fake.
reps?
Like, would I buy one or do I care if someone has one?
Both.
I don't know if I'd buy a fake designer bag, and I don't really care if someone has one. I don't have like an opinion on like the hatred of the fake designer thing because
Like, okay, in a crazy world,
okay,
where like Omar was like his bag was fake.
his bag was fake and he told me about it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you're smart with your money, dog.
Yes.
I wouldn't care.
What about shoes?
I have a pair of fake shoes. That, and I'll tell you what, because I have a pair of very, very expensive shoes that are from the same brand, and the fake ones are the exact same. You can't tell the difference. They feel the exact same. This is a pair of shoes that is 5 figures. This is a 5-figure pair of shoes. I have a real pair of 5-figure shoes, and I have a fake pair of 5-figure shoes. Like, they're the exact same. There's no difference between them. I've like,
wait, no, hold on. You know, 5 figures is
Sorry,
$10,000.
my bad.
Plus.
Let me take it back. 4-figure shoes. I'm not good at math.
You fucking
This shoe's like $1,000, right? I have a pair of shoes that are real by the same brand.
Yeah.
A fake pair.
Yeah.
this shoe came from the same place. You cannot, if I showed you them, you'd be like, there's just, I know you wouldn't tell the difference because I can't tell the difference and I'm like into shoes. So it does not matter.
That's how I feel.
I remember.
What about a watch?
Nah, I wouldn't buy a fake watch. I think like watches are investments. And I know that's like so contradictory to what I just said, but I look at the watches as like, this is an investment. If shit hit the fan in my family and I needed to sell something, like I wouldn't like, I could sell the investment that is the watch. I wouldn't wear a fake watch. But I like watch. Like I'm not going to invest though in a watch until my portfolio is in a place where I'm like, this is so set.
Doesn't make good.
I also have a very nice heirloom that was passed to me that I got lucky to have, and I really like it. And I feel like it's sentimental. Like when I wear it, I'm like, oh, my grandpa's with me type shit. So I'm not into investing in watches, but I appreciate them. Whenever we have guests that come over and they have the Pateks or the Rolexes that we get to see, I'm like, this is cool because this is something likely that your kid will have. And that's cool. I think that's really cool. Like I'd like to invest in watches, and when my son or daughter turns 18, be like,
hopefully a son.
Here you go. Here's your beautiful watch that I've worked so hard to have. You better not lose this fucking watch.
There's this guy on TikTok who, it must be their basement or another room in the house, whatever.
Okay.
And he plays baseball with his little kid.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I love this dude.
He's like, careful. When we start off, we warm up slow, put some air under it. And then his kid is like, he's pretty good. He must be like 3.
He's like 3 or 4.
He's fucking great swing.
He's hitting bombs, dude.
I could just tell as a dad, you're just like, oh my kid's got something.
He's got a chance to be the next Altuve. Yeah,
dude. And then I saw LeVar Ball went on a pod. It's his son's podcast.
On who has the pod? Is it Mello or Jello?
No. It's who's the oldest one?
Lonzo. Oh, Lonzo.
And the co-host goes, when did you know your kids like could have potential for the NBA? He goes, as soon as I met my wife. He goes, I knew since fucking before they were born. He goes, with the last name Ball, what do you think they're gonna do? Dude, I fucking miss LeVar. You remember when LeVar Ball was like the guy?
I loved that period of time. Dude. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He was the most entertaining man on the internet. People were in tears. He was milking them. Yeah. They were just idiots. They were like, he thinks his son's better than Jordan. Like, shut up, dude. You guys are all idiots. He was fiddling. Yeah. Fiddling the competition. He had every analyst in the world was talking about him. Dude, he could have ran for president. He had the whole world talking about him. It's so funny.
And then the last thing I want to say is, dude, did we have a trial reel go off?
Dude, you guys got to invest in trial reels. I'm telling you, you got to change it up though, because Adam Mosseri, CEO of Insta, said that they're cracking down. You can't post more than 5 a day, I believe he said, or something like that. So be careful. We don't want you guys getting banned from the greatest thing.
We're just trying to post 1 a day.
We're just trying to post 64 a day. Yeah. Greatest thing on the internet. We love you guys. This was an awesome episode with Omar. Appreciate you guys a ton. You'll be back next week with episode 200, which is absolutely insane. And we'll see you guys all next week. Peace.